Daniel chapter 6. Shapar Qadam Daryaush. It was seemly before Daryaush. Wahaqim al Malakutah. La Hashadar Panaya. Maha wa Esharim. To establish over the kingdom for satraps 120. Di Lehawan Bakol Malakutah, who were for being in all his kingdom. Wa'ella min Nahon, and over them Sarkin Talata, 3 presidents. Di Daniel Had Minahon, of whom Daniel was one from them. Di Lehawon Ahashdarpanaya Ilen Yahavin Lahon Ta'ama, who to them these satraps would give for themselves account. Give to them account. وَمَلَكَا لَا لَهْوَ نَازِيقَ, and the king there should not be suffering injury. Edain Daniel Dana Hawa Mitanathah. Then Daniel, he was distinguishing himself al-Sarkaya, above the presidents, wa Ahashdarpanaya, and the prefects, the satraps. Kol qobel di ruhiyati rabeh, all because of an excellent spirit in him. Wa malaka ashit, and the king was thinking, lahaqamuteh, to establish him, ala kol malakuta, upon all the kingdom. Edain Sarkaya, then the presidents were Ahashdarpanaya, and the satraps Hawabain Illah were seeking occasion Lahashakaha Ladaniel, to find against Daniel Mithad Malakuta, beside the kingdom. Ukol illa ushahita, and every occasion and corruption la yakalin lahashakaha, they were not being able to find. Kol qabel di mehemanahu, all because of him being faithful. Wekol shalu, and all remiss or neglect, ushahita, and corruption, la hishitakahat alohi, was not found upon him. Edain guvraya ilayk amarin di la nahashakah Ladaniel Dana Kol Illah. Then these men were saying that we shall not find for this Daniel, any occasion, lahen, except hashikahna alohi badata laheh, except we find upon him in the law of his God. Edain Sarakaya wa ahashdarpanaya ilek. Then the presidents and these satraps, Haragishu, were tumultuously ala malaka upon the king. Wikenaha marinaleh. And thus they were saying to him, Dariush malaka alamin hiyi. O Darius, the king, forever live thou. Ithiatu, they have advised, Kol sarke malakuta, all the presidents of the kingdom, Siganaya, prefects, Wahashadarpanaya, and satraps, Hadavaraya, the advisors, Wapahawata, and the governors, Laqayyama Qayyam, to establish a decree, Malakah, O king, Ulataqafa Asar, and to make a bond strong. Di kol di yiba'e ba'u, that all who petition a petition, minakol halah wahanash, from any god or man, other yomin talatin, as far as 30 days, lahen minnak malakah, to them from thee, O king, or besides from thee, O king, yitrameh lagob aryawata, he shall be thrown into the den of the lions. Karan malakah, and now, O king, taqim asara, establish the bond, watirashum katapa, and inscribe thou the writing. Dilah lahashanaya, that it be not changed. Kadathamadai waparas, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians. Dilah ta'adeh, which is not passing. Kol qobeladna, all because of this, Malka Daryaush, Rasham Kataba, Wahasara. The king Dariush inscribed the writing and the bind. Wadaniel kadi yada di Rashim Kataba ala baiteh. And Daniel, as he knew that the writing was inscribed, went to his house. Ukawin, and the window petihin leh be'ilite were open, and the windows were opened. The windows were opened for it in its roof chamber, neged the Yerushalem, opposite Yerushalem, was Ziminin, Talata b'yomah, and 3 occasions in the day, Hu habareka ala birkohi, he was kneeling on his knees, umatalleh, and praying, were more there, and praising, qadamahalah, before his God. Kol qobel di hawa abed, all because that he had done, min qadmatadna, from before this. Edain gubarayahilek Haragishu. Then these men approached, were in a tumult. Wahashakahu Daniel, and they found Daniel. Ba'e umitahannan qadama hilaheh, asking and seeking mercy before his God. Be'adain qaribu wahamarin qadama malaka. And then they drew near and were saying before the king, Al-Hasar Malakah, concerning the bond of the king, the bind of the king. Halah Hasar Rashamata. Is it not that thou inscribed a bind? Di kol anash di yib'e min kol halah wahanash. على يومين ثلاثين لاهن منك ملكا يترمه لغوب أرياوتا. That every man who is asking from any god or man unto 30 days, except from thee, O king, should be thrown to the den of the lions. Rane Malkawa Hamar. The king responding also said, Yathiba milita kadat madai waparas dilah he'ade. Certainly, the truth, reliable truth, is the word like the law of the Madai, or the Medes and the Persians, which does not pass away. Bedain Rano Wahamarin. Then they answered and saying, Qadama Malaka, before the king. Di Daniel di mina bene galuta di Yehud. La Hashama alak malakat em. That Daniel, who is from the sons of the exile of Yehudah, hath not set upon thee this judgment, O king. Wa ala hasaradi rashamata, and upon the bind which thou inscribed, was zimnin talata b'yomam ba'e ba'uteh, and 3 occasions in the day is seeking his request. Adain malakah kadim millata shema shagih behesh alohi. Then the king, as soon as he heard this matter, was exceedingly evil upon him. Wa al Daniel shamabal l'shezabuteh, and upon Daniel he set his mind to deliver him. Wa adame ale shimasha hawa mishatadar lahathaluteh, and unto the going in of the sun he was struggling to rescue him. Bedain gubrayahilek, and then these men, Haragishu al-Malaka, were tumultuous against the king. Wahamarin la-Malaka, and saying to the king, Da Malaka, thou knowest, O king, di dat lamadai waparas, that the law for the Medes and the Persians, di kol hasara uqayam, that every bind and stood up decree, di malaka yahaqem, that the king is establishing, la hashanaya, cannot be changed. Be'adain malaka hamar, and then the king said, Waha, or ordered, Waha yatiu Daniel, and they brought Daniel, Uramo, Lugubba, and threw him to the den, di Aryawata, which is of the lions. Rane malaka waha mar Daniel. The king was responding, and he said to Daniel, the king was responding and saying to Daniel, Elahak, thy God, di anatapalahleh, that thou art serving toward him, bitadira, continually, hu yeshezabin he shall deliver thee. Wehetayith, and it was brought Eben Hadar, one stone. Washumat alapum gubba, and it was set upon the mouth of the den. Wahatamah malakah, and his seal of the king, be'izqateh, in its by his signet ring, ube'izqat rabarabanohi, and by the sealing, or by the signet of his lords or great ones, dilah tishaneth zabu Daniel, that not a thing should change concerning Daniel. Edain azal malaka lehekaleh, and then the king left to his temple, wabat tawat, and he passed the night fasting, with the hawan, and diversions, la hana'el qadamohi, were not brought before him, was shinateh, and his sleep nadat fled alohi, upon him, from on him. Be'edain malaka bishaparapara yaqum benogaha, and then the king in early morning arose in the brightness, ubehitabahala, and in hurrying himself, lagubba, to the den, di aryawata azal, and hurrying himself to the den of the lions, he went. Ukamikarabeh lagubba, and in his approaching to the den, Daniel baqala athib zaiq, to Daniel in a voice of sorrow or grief, he cried, Rane malaka waha mar Daniel. The king answering and saying to Daniel, Daniel, Aved Allah Hayya, Daniel, servant of the living God, Allahak di anatapalahaleh, thy God which thou servest to him, bitadira, continually, in continuum, hayakil l'she zabutak, Is it that he was able to deliver thee, Minaharyawata, from the lions? Edain Daniel, Imamalaka, Malil, Malaka, La'alamin Hayyi. Then Daniel with the king was wording, Malka, O king, for unseen time live thou. Allahi, my God, Shalah Mala'akeh, hath sent his messenger, Usagarapum Aryawata, and shut the mouth of the lions. Wallah habbaluni, and they have not hurt me. Kullu qabilati qada mohi zakku, all because of that before him I was pure. Hishtakahatli, purity was found in me. Wa apqada mak, and even against thee, Malka, O king, Habullah, la abdeth. A hurtful act was not, I have not worked. Bedain Malaka Shagih Ta'eb Alohi. And then the king, exceedingly good was upon him, exceeding gladness was upon him. Uladaniel Amara Lahanasaka Minagubba. And for Daniel he said to come up, to bring up from the den. Uhusak Daniel, and Daniel came up, was brought up, Minagubba, from the den. Ukol Habal la Hishtakah beh, and every hurt was not found in him. Di hemin behlaheh, for he trusted, was reliable, was faithful by his God, in his God. Wahamara malaka, and the king said, Wahayatiu gubrayahilek, and they brought these men, di akhalu qarathohi di Daniel, which ate his pieces, that is Daniel's pieces, which are of Daniel. That means they accused Daniel. Ulugoba aryawata ramo, and they threw into the den of the lions in Nun them, Bnei Horn, their sons, Unasher Horn, and their women. Wallah Mator, and they did not go down, they did not reach the Ara'it, to the bottom Gubba of the den. Adadi Shalitu Bahorn, until they overpowered them, Aryawata, until the lions overpowered them. Ukol Garamehon Hadiku, and all their bones they shattered. Bedain Daryaush Malaka, then Daryaush the king, Katab Lakol Amamaya Umayya Walishanaya, wrote to all the peoples, nations, and languages, the Dayarin Bakol Arsha, that are dwelling in all the earth. Shalamakon Yashage, your peace be multiplied. Minaqadamai Shimat'em, from before me is set a decree. Di Bakol Sholatan Malakuti, that in all the dominion of my kingdom, Lehwon Zayain Wadahalin, to be fearing, trembling and fearing, min qadam Allaheh, from before his God, Di Daniel, the God of Daniel. Di hu ilaha hayya, for he is the living God, wa qayyam la'alamin, and is established forever, wa malakuteh di la titahabbal, and his kingdom which shall not be hurt, wa sholat'aneh ad-sofa, and his dominion until the end. Until the end. Meshezib umathal, delivering and rescuing. Wa'aved atin witimahin, and effectuating signs and wonders. Bishamaya uva arasha, in the sky and in the earth. Di shezib ladaniel min yad aryawata, that hath delivered Daniel from the hand of the lions. Wa Daniel dana hatzalah b'malakut Daryaush u'b'malakut Koresh Parasaha. And this Daniel prospered in the kingdom of Dariush and in the kingdom of Koresh the Persian.